Hi, all of you. Today's topic is really interesting. It's about how not to overthink. Thinking is fine, right? But today we are going to be talking about certain symptoms of what or how overthinkers are. And I'm going to be giving you 6 kind of tips to manage or get aware of your overthinking process. Okay, so the first thing that I'm sure all of you know, that this is not rocket science. I'm sure thinking is fine, but there are a lot of people who have a constant barrage of thoughts all the time. And for these people, some of the symptoms are that number one, they basically rehash a conversation that they had yesterday, or they are basically second guessing any decision that they take, all the time. And thirdly, they are imagining sort of disastrous outcomes all the time. So given this, I wanted to ask you a question that did you know that thinking too much often involves more than words? While I'm reading this, I want to ask you this question again. Did you know that thinking or overthinking actually involves more than words? So what does this mean is that it's not only words, but it's also that you start imagining all kinds of things and sort of replaying that imagination like a movie. In the sense, it's either you're off the road, started off on the road and continuously, the imagination is going on. Or it could be sort of imagining or replaying certain disastrous events that would have occurred in the past, or that you imagine that is going to occur in the future, and which is getting wired all the time. Yeah. So basically what I'm trying to say is overthinking is going to really create a havoc in your mind, or it doesn't really help you with things that you want to get done with, right? Am I not right in saying that? So let me start by actually coming up with 6 ways of helping you of how not to overthink. Before that, I wanted to actually talk to you about destructive thought patterns. When I was researching about this, what I found was there are 2 kinds of thought patterns, and as you see in the slide there, one is ruminating, another is incessant thinking. So in the ruminating kind of thought patterns, you can see the kind of thought patterns that are there in the slide, where you're generally thinking about the past, or you say things like, I should not have done this, I should not have attended the meeting yesterday, I should not have said the kind of things that I said yesterday, and things like that. So those is something that has happened in the past that you go on ruminating it by recollecting it and talking about it, and in your mind, right? The second one is the incessant worry of the future. Okay, like you see the points or the kind of thoughts that you might have of the future is, this is how I am, and I'm sure the presentation that I'm going to be doing tomorrow is going to go bad. I'm sure I'm not going to have any money in the future. So these are things that you're talking about, something very sure that's going to happen to you in the future, right? So now I'm going to be telling you 6 ways of sort of handling this overthinking process or getting more and more aware of it, okay? The first way is notice when you are stuck in your head. So habits die hard, and I'm sure you're able to know when you are stuck in your head. And is that sometimes you don't even recognize. Habits have become so hard that you don't even recognize that when there is a particular thought that's happening over and over again, it may need attention in terms of for you to sort of get aware of it and stop that. So what are sort of symptoms of getting stuck? First thing is you're not able to recognize it, and it's just going on and on in your head. The second thing is you start paying attention to the way you think, so that you become aware of the problem. Okay, so what does this lead to is that any kind of thinking that you do, thinking is equal to positive action. Okay, so it needs to move into some kind of a positive action. That's what you need to get into. So this is the first point. Keep the focus on problem solving is the second point. So what do I mean by that? It doesn't really mean to say that you don't look at the problems, but you look at the problems with an angle of solutions. So what do you mean by that? Is that think of different ways of doing it, or think of sort of potential solutions to a particular problem. So what you're basically doing by this is your focus is on your attitude and an effort that you need to make rather than something that is not in your scope. The third thing is challenge your thoughts. Have you ever challenged your thoughts? Sometimes when we are thinking certain things, in fact you need to sort of get aware to an extent where you are able to come out of it and able to look at the evidence of what you're thinking, whether it is there, not there, what are the kind of data points or evidence that you can gather for that particular thought that is making you think of it over and over again. This will help you sort of clear the negative thoughts away, because if there isn't any evidence and it's made up in your mind, we need to accept that and take the next step, right? So evidence becomes very important. Why the thought is not there or why is it there? Okay. The fourth one is schedule time for self-reflection. In fact, it'll be great if you sort of give time to yourself for you to think, so that time you are allowed to worry, to sort of get frustrated, to mull over, to do whatever that you want about your thoughts, whether in the past or the future. You allow yourself to do that. There is a difference between stewing versus sort of self-reflecting. So you sort of give, this is a beautiful thing that I have started practicing, is to give 20 minutes thinking time, 20 minutes self-reflection time. So the moment you give this, and suppose you find yourself thinking otherwise, not during the 20 minutes, but at other times, then you basically tell yourself that I will think of these things during the 20 minutes of self-reflection time that I have given to myself. So that will make you stop unnecessarily thinking when you don't have to think about aspects, but doing is what is required. So worrying, ruminating, mulling over, all of that is allowed, but it's allowed for that 20 minutes. So something that comes up apart from the 20 minutes time, you tell yourself, no, not now. Go back to the 20 minutes time. Okay, beautiful. So the fifth one is learn about mindfulness. There are so many techniques nowadays that you can research and find out what is it that suits you. You can have an app, you can have a meditation exercise, whatever that it is that you need to definitely invest in for you to become more mindful. So what do you mean by mindful is basically to be in the present. So, I heard of some self-help gurus to say that we have developed our mind so much and now you want us to stop thinking. So I'm not saying that we should not think. Thinking is good, but overthinking is what I'm talking about. So mindfulness helps you to be in the present so that you don't overthink, so that you do certain things which helps you to be in the present. So there's, that state of nothingness which will then give you all answers, right? So we need to practice this and use tools to help ourselves be in the mindfulness mode. Not to use our mind, but to be very, very mindful of being in the present and do what is required. The last one is change your channel. Okay, what do you mean by this? In case you seem to be talking about a topic which is really frustrating, or it is leading to sort of opening up those can of worms which is not required, or it's just leading to overthinking unnecessarily. So this is the time for you to distract into some other project, some other topic, some other thing that probably would help you, rather than thinking about something which you just dwell into and it's not leading to solutions. So it's like a check. So you change the channel, like suppose, right? So that's a very good mechanism for you to not overthink. Finally, train your brain. What's most important is the kind of bad habits, mental thinking habits that we develop over a period of time. We start assuming that these mental thinking habits are actually natural and normal because these are thoughts coming up from our mind, so it's okay to have these thoughts. But we need to pick and choose the kind of thoughts that are going to help us. So the mental sort of bad habits that we create over a period of time through our influences, through experiences, the upbringing that we have in our life, that's something that we need to train our brain with, so that there is a right kind of wiring that happens, so that you become mentally strong. The way you train your brain basically will help you become mentally strong, isn't it? What are your thoughts about this video? Please put your comments in there. And one of the things that I do in my Women's Independence Blueprint, which is my level 1 course, which you can get into after you attend my Discover the Superwoman program, which is a 3-day or a 5-day program depending upon which you want to choose, right? So one of the things that I do is do a lot of brain science knowledge that I impart with people. So this helps you get more and more self-aware, understanding what is there in between those 2 years. The moment you understand that more and more, you realize how to regulate it. So wonderful. Please don't forget to subscribe in my YouTube channel and like my video, and do sign up for my class. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.